Folks, how are we doing? It's Maybach Egg, and welcome back to a ranked Brawl video. This is the debut of the format officially. It's been like a event for some time now. I've played it maybe once or twice, but they have now institutionalized ranked Brawl with its own special ban list permanently available on Arena. So I thought I would give it a spin with actually my oldest deck on Arena, a Kinnan Bonder Prodigy Brawl deck. I made this deck when I hopped on Arena back in like 2021, I want to say, and it's like the oldest deck that I have. It's kind of cool. I've kept it updated and played it on and off for the last 5 years, so it has kind of a near and dear space in my heart. So we're going to be playing some games on the ladder with Kinnan, a very, very powerful Brawl commander that any of you who have played Brawl know about. If you haven't seen Kinnan before, Kinnan costs a green and a blue. He's a legendary creature, human druid, a 2/2. He says, whenever you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of any type that permanent produced. So, our Chrome Moxes, our Mox Ambers, our various mana dorks of different shapes and sizes. I don't think there's one that's above 2 mana in our deck, but they'll be tapping for usually double the mana that they typically do with Kinnan out on the field. So we get a lot of Simic ramp out of Kinnan. Kinnan also has a activated ability for 5 in green and blue. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may put a non-human creature card from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So if you can't tell already, the idea here is that we are ramping out with our dorks and doing some mid-rangey plays. We've got Counterspell. We've got cards like Mana Drain and Chrome Mox, Natural Order, and Ancient Tomb, which are normally banned in Brawl, but are unbanned in Ranked Brawl. So thankfully, we're going to be able to play with some high-powered cards. We're playing out these dorks to then activate Kinnan and play out one of our gigantic threats, like an Emrakul, a World Spine Worm, a Jin-Gitaxias Core Augur. This can happen, by the way, at instant speed. This can happen on your opponent's end step. It can happen when they go to attacks. You don't always necessarily hit off of Kinnan, but we're running a good number of big ass creatures in the deck so that we can finish out the game with verified Simic bangers. Key cards in the deck are Nyx Bloom Ancient. If you tap a permanent for mana, it produces 3 times as much as that mana instead. Pretty huge. Coma Cosmos Serpent can lock the game down. Craterhoof Behemoth can swing for the kill. And a World Spine Worm and Emrakul just get in. And like I mentioned before, we have a couple of counter spells available to us. We have a couple of ways to protect our Kinnan should our opponents try to remove him. Green Sun Zenith and Nature's Rhythm to get our creatures onto the battlefield. And that's pretty much it. It's quite a straightforward deck. It usually pops off if you keep a decent hand with 1 or 2 dorks and you play Kinnan out and protect him. So with all that being said, let's hop into some games. All right, we are on the play against a Bruce Tarl and Thrasios build. I think we're going to see a lot of these partner commanders in the ranked Brawl queue, which is pretty cool. We have a okay hand. We could go Island Bossing, say, into Incubation Druid, but we only have 1 mana dork. We could get out a Primeval Titan eventually, but maybe not as fast as we would like, which is unfortunate. Although, you know what? We could play out the Incubation Druid. No, we couldn't adapt it on turn 3 because we have to play Kinnan out on turn 3. I think I'm going to mull this one. We get a free mull in Ranked Brawl, so that's nice. Oh, excuse me. No, we don't. The competitive vibes are here. Okay, so we get a worse hand, which is a shame. Nature's Rhythm could get us a dork, but that would be on turn 3. Skyclave Relic is one of our biggest or most expensive non-land mana sources, and we have an Uro and a Kogla. I think I'm going to mull again, and I feel a little bit better about this one. This is a disappointing mull to 5, but we have a Raphellos and a basic forest, so what we can do is play Forest Shifting Woodland, maybe go into a Skyclave Relic. I think we'll put back the Defense of the Heart and the Nyxbloom Ancient, and just get this going. It's too bad that Shifting Woodlands isn't a forest of its own. Our opponent opens with Ancient Tomb into Arcane Signet. That seems quite strong. We'll play out our Raphellos, and then we will go to the Kinnan in our next step and play out a Skyclave Relic. They play a Tezzeret Cruel Captain and opt to search for a artifact card with mana value 1 or less. I wonder what they're going to get here. This format obviously doesn't have Soul Ring. Maybe a Mox Amber or a Chrome Mox, something like that. That once they play out one of their partners, they can tap for mana. Okay, they go for an Esper Sentinel. That makes sense to me. We're going to draw some cards with that Esper Sentinel for sure. Okay, so we have a couple of options here. We could go Mind Stone and then play Kinnan. Yeah, I don't hate that. We would lose out on the... we would give them a card with Esper Sentinel. I think we have to give them a card with Esper Sentinel. Or no, we don't. We can just do this. We can go Mind Stone. We can pay the 1 and pass. So this way, we might actually be able to play out the Skyclave Relic and kick it next turn. That would be huge. That is, if our Kinnan sticks around. Our opponent has a lot of mana on the board right now. Almost as much as us. They crack their Wooded Foothills and play out their Thrasios. They go for a Breeding Pool. Interesting. Would have figured maybe they'd play white to remove our Kinnan somehow. Alright, Phyrexian Metamorph, that's probably going to copy our Kinnan. That's a shame. But it happens. The only thing it's buffing is their Arcane Signet. Okay, we got a Fuel Tank Feaster. That's a solid card. This is a funny little alchemy card. If you have like a creature card in your hand, it reduces the cost of it by 1 colorless mana each turn at the beginning of your first main phase. I think we're going to go with a kicked Skyclave Relic here. And we will pay the... Ooh, we actually can't pay for this because of Esper Sentinel having 2 power now. Yikes. Alright, they Fierce Guardianship it, which, man, that actually sucks because the kicker trigger didn't get to go on the stack. Okay, we need this in our Kinnan deck, man. I forgot that these cards are legal in ranked Brawl. I haven't bothered to smith any of them because of that. Alright, so they play out an Icefall Explorer. They're already at 12 life, which is pretty crazy. And we are going to activate Kinnan next turn. We don't have any cards in hand, but they are... they might be in trouble here, especially if we get something good off of Kinnan. Would really love to see like a Emrakul or something like that. They untap their Esper Sentinel. And they station their Evendo Waking Haven with a couple of their cards. Looks like they're gonna pass. Ooh! We could also just Psych Rift. Damn. Okay, well, let's see what they end up playing out, and we'll consider Cyclonic Rifting them, because that is, that's a blowy. Alright, they mill over their own Kinnan. They might just station all their guys, and then... I kind of like the idea of... Okay, they're going to go and station it, and that'll happen as a sorcery. So... I think we bounce it here. Yeah! Because that way, they have to spend a bunch of time playing out their creatures again. They'll probably tap their Arcane Signet. Ah, damn it. They had the Spell Snare. That sucks. Damn. They got some competitive-ass shit in this format, man. Transit Mage? Okay, you're going to go get a One Ring. Or maybe a Paradox Engine? Oh, no, a Bright Glass Gear Hulk. Interesting. All right, you going to play this out or what? I guess you don't have the white mana unless you fetch with Scalding Tarn. Okay. Well, we just got maybe the best thing we could have gotten. We get to tutor up anything we want with Kinnan. So, why don't we go to activate that in their end step? They're going to activate their Evenda Waking Haven to draw some cards with Thrasios. Okay, I kind of want to pop the Worldly Tutor off here. Yeah, let's do that. Can we pay for this? No, we can't. They're just going to draw a card. I want to pop it off here because they drew a Wash away. And I don't want them to be able to counter my Worldly Tutor. They're taking a lot of damage. That feels pretty good. If we can get in with a... with an Emrakul next turn, that would be pretty huge. They do a deflecting swat, you say. I will do Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, and pass it back to them. They go get their Scalding Tarn. Mill over a Wan Shitong. I'm betting that they will want to have a flyer here. We'll see if they get one. They might be able to get one off of the Bright Glass Gear Hulk. They have Deflecting Swat. Does that mean that they can swat my... activated ability? Okay, we'll draw the island here. Or we'll tap the island. They'll play out the Strip Mine again. They're looking to take us off green completely. We'll tap Raphellos. Well, we won't get taken off green completely, but they're looking to take us off our Raphellos by destroying our forest. They play out a Badger Mole Cub. Alright. They animate their steam vents. They're going to go for a Worldly Tutor. Alright. So they go for a Sowing Mica Spawn. I don't know how they plan to draw it exactly. Maybe with the Titus? The Thrasios? Yep. And then they're going to play it out with... by tapping Steam Vents, Ancient Tomb, Sacred Foundry. They really needed a flyer. I don't know what they're thinking in terms of for now. Blocking my Emrakul when it comes down. They got a Mox Opal, sure. Okay, we activate our Kinnan here. So they deflecting swat that, and we still get it. Yeah, that's not like a valid target. I didn't think it was. I don't have a ton of experience casting spells like deflecting swat. Never played one in EDH or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure that this is GG. Annihilator 6. They destroy a bunch of stuff, and they have 0 flyers? Milla Landover with Ice Till, and that'll do it. All right. Man. Pretty crazy game there. That Worldly Tutor came in super clutch. All right, we are on the play again. We are up against Prismari, the Inspiration. I believe this is the new Prismari that, yeah, instant and sorcery spells you cast have Storm. So looks like they'll be trying to get a 7 mana dragon out and then do some Storm shenanigans. What do we have in our hand? We have a Mockingbird, 2 islands, Elysian Caryatid, and Simic Signet. This is a slow one, but we could cast out Caryatid with the Signet, and we could copy it with Mockingbird. Maybe I'm fucked, but I kind of like this hand. Also, between those two games, I took out my beloved Skyclave Relic and replaced it with a Fierce Guardianship because I did not realize we could run those, and we absolutely want that in our deck. A free counterspell for our that is turned on by our 2 mana commander. You betcha. All right, we'll go island and pass. Yeah, I think that this hand works given the fact that we are on the play here. If this Simic Signet got countered, I would be really upset, but I think we're going to be okay. Opponent goes island, Thundering Falls, mills over a mountain. All right, Defense of the Heart. That's interesting. I have never cast this spell in our deck, but I don't think it'll be good in this matchup unless they like have like a young pyromancer making tokens and stuff. But if you're up against a bunch of creatures, Defense of the Heart can just get you the 2 best cards in your deck and put them right onto the battlefield. Seems good to me. All right, we lose our Elysian Caryatid. That is sad. We do get our green source, which we love. So I think we're going to go ahead and play Kinnan here. And if they want to counter Kinnan, they certainly can. But we will have the counter spell. We have a Snakeskin Veil ready to keep our Kinnan safe. They're doing a little ramp action here with their treasure token. They play a Tablet of Discovery. When this artifact enters mill a card, you may play that card this turn. And it taps for red or 2 red if you're casting an instant or sorcery spell. This seems pretty good, man. Seems like a good-ass card. And now they're going to try to fry our Simic Signet and our Kinnan here. That would be really bad if we didn't have the counterspell. But they also might have the Spell Pierce or the Spell Snare. We'll just have to see. Got anything for this opponent? All right, we're good. We're in there. All right, Nightshade Dryad. That works. We can tap. You know what? We should have tapped Simic Signet to float 3 mana and then Mockingbird to leave up the Snakeskin Veil. Shoot. That was a misclick. All right, we'll just have to play it a little slow. I'd rather keep up protection for Kinnan than go all in on the Mockingbird. We'll take an attack here because I'm pretty sure it's free. And we'll pass. They might try to lightning bolt the Kinnan. They can also cast Prismari if they have a land this turn. That seems pretty good. They do. They do not cast Prismari. They cast Vivi. A neutered Vivi that taps to activate its abilities. All right. You're making treasures. You're popping off. Sounds good. Well, we can play out Talisman of Curiosity because it is mana neutral. And we could also play out a Titan of Industry, getting rid of their Tablet of Discovery. That's a little tempting. Or we can just hold up a Kinnan activation. I kind of don't hate holding up a Kinnan activation here. Yeah, let's sit back and do that. We have exactly enough to activate Kinnan. We don't have enough to Kinnan and Snakeskin Veil. So we might be put in a position where we have to choose one or the other. Opponent's got a lot of mana right now. If they want to play out this Prismari and make a land drop, they should have 4 mana to cast their instants and sorceries. So they crack the Prismari. Or, I'm sorry, they play out the Prismari, cracking 2 treasure tokens. And now they're going to storm off here. Perhaps. Ponder with Storm? Sure. Alright. Well, we got to kill him quick. Because this Vivi is going to get out of control. Oh, and they have mana with Vivi. I forgot that. That's pretty good. I almost would like to lose to this deck to see him pop off. And that might just happen. 3 opts? That's pretty fucking good. I wonder what they'll go for here. They'll probably tap their VV. Yeah, float a bunch of blue. And 3 red. 2 red, excuse me. They got 5 mana. Storm count will be 4 at the next spell they cast. Pirate's Prize. Damn, that's good. Wow. Okay. We might have to try this deck out. You, beat the Dirtle. Perhaps I should have Kinnaned a long time ago. I don't know. Alright, well, they have drawn practically all of their deck. Okay, they cast a Past in Flames, which means everything gets to be flashback. They could cast a Prismari Command and kill me? Yeah, okay, I can scoop here. But let's see what we get off of Kinnan. Just for the funsies. Oh, wait, they can just count. Can they counter this? Oh, it would have just been a Badgermole Cub. All right. Fuck us. Never mind. All right, GG. We are on the draw against Spider-Man 2099. This is a card that I see pop up in a lot of, like, dual commander ranked lists. I don't really know what it does. I've never taken a look at the deck list super closely. But it's a powerful card. You can't play it on your first, second, or third turns. But if you've cast a spell or play a land from anywhere other than your hand on that turn, on your turn, Spider-Man deals damage equal to his power to any target. So 2 damage is pretty annoying each turn. How do we like our hand? Galta the Stampede will just chill in our hand for a while. Again, we have a 2-mana dork and a bunch of other stuff. I think we're going to mull this. Okay, this is looking a little better. We can play our... I think maybe I want to cast our Nezahal and get rid of the Spirit of Vitality. Let's play a Scalding Tarn and pass, and we'll hedge Maze in their end step. All right, Thundering Falls from the opponent. They choose to keep their card on top. They like what they see. And they play an island and pass. So we will go ahead and fetch here. Unless they stifle it. Hello! Hello, opponent. Thanks for the stifle. We'll go ahead and play our Flooded Strand and we'll pass. A little fetch land at home. Okay. They're stuck on 2 mana. That's fine. It's a-okay with me. We'll take our Hedge Maze out. Would love to see a Dork. High Fade Trickster. This lets us cast our spells as though they had flash. I don't want to cast that right now. I would like to cast a Cold Steel Heart. It will probably get countered. Force Spike. Fair enough. We can play our Kinnan next turn. Our opponent is screwed on mana. Let's see if they've got another one for us. Nope. Great. Well, guess what? Get Guardianshipped. We got a Mana Drain. That'll be dope if we can keep our Kinnan alive. We cannot. But we can counter another spell coming down here soon. Or we could cast a Nature's Rhythm. What would we get for 2 mana? Let's pop this off. Actually, you know what? Let's... Do we want to chill and hold up Mana Drain? I think maybe we do. We could cast Kinnan again. I'd like to hold up Mana Drain. Because if they go Spider-Man here, we Mana Drain it. And then we cast Nezahal next turn. Alright. Elysian Carry added. That's good. And we'll pass. Okay, Spider-Man. Let's Mana Drain this. It resolves. Fantastic. 4 mana Spider-Man. Sounds good to me. They get rid of our Elysian Carry added. That's okay, because we are going to put this on... What was it? Druid? We're not going to play our Kinnan. We're going to play our Nezahal, which cannot be countered. And against this deck, I assume they're going to be playing a lot of non-creature spells. And Nezahal is a card that says, whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card. So, should our Nezahal stick around, which hopefully it will, we are going to be getting some serious card advantage. Abhorrent Oculus. All right. They're going to Manifest Dread. They put a card face down. We could go Delighted Halfling, then Kinnan. Or we could do Nature's Rhythm for something. I think I like Delighted Halfling, then Kinnan. Make them play out their non-creature spells if they want to get rid of our board here. They swing with the Oculus. We take 5. They play out their Spider-Man. And then Spider-Man does 2 damage to Kinnan. I did not think about that. That's frustrating. Okay, what can we do here? We can play out our Breeding Pool. And we can Nature's Rhythm for 6. What will that get us? Now let's play it out for 6. They're going to play some spell here. The fact that this is just 2 free damage every turn, I'm starting to see maybe where the upside of this is from. All right, they go Mystic Sanctuary. They put a Lorien Revealed on top of their library. Are they going to counter this? Yeah, they're going to Mana Drain it. That sucks. Damn. Fuck. Okay. Well, we can tap Nezahal next turn. And Force of Will something. Ooh. We can play Galta. Well, Galta doesn't do anything. But, we're going to lose our Delighted Halfling to Spider-Man. They have another Mana Drain with their Saiba Siphoner. Okay. Spider-Man did not activate. I forgot it has a specific clause. Alright, we've got to do something here if we want to win. We could play out a Mind Stone. We could play out Kinnan. play out Galta. Play a Nature's Rhythm. That would get countered. Galta would not get countered. We could hold up Force of Will. We could draw a card with Mind Stone. Yeah, I kind of don't hate that. Damn, Veil of Summer. Okay. That means that we could get Hexproof from blue. That seems good. But I think we might be dead. We might be in big trouble. We just get to keep banging in with this Abhorrent Oculus. And make this huge board. Well, how about this? Oh, shit! God damn it! The auto tapper has fucked me. We needed a fucking... Ah! That's so annoying. I should have tapped the Delighted Halfling. I could have Veiled of Summer. Oh, you know what? They would have just mana drained over the Veil of Summer. There's no point. Damn. GG's. I'm pretty sure that game is toast, so we'll just scoop it up here. That's too bad. Outvalued by Spider-Man. All right, we are up against another Ikoria Menace. Winota, Joiner of Forces. This is the fixed version on Arena. So this says, whenever one or more non-human creatures you control attack, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may put a human card attacking onto the battlefield. Okay, so this is not like individual triggers for like each of your goblin tokens. It's just one trigger that you get. Okay, so pretty significantly nerfed. We're on the draw again, which we do not like. We have not been getting super lucky here. And we have no means to ramp our Kinnan. We're going to get rid of this. Okay. Arcane Signet. Hold up into the Flood Maw. Play out Fuel Tank Feaster. Get rid of Jin. That seems pretty solid to me. So we can go Ancient Tomb, Arcane Signet. Flood Maw is going to be a really good answer for Winota. And then next turn we could do Uro. We could do Fuel Tank Feaster. They hole our Arcane Signet. So it goes. Okay, we could... I think we're going to have to Fuel Tank Feaster here and take some damage. We could hold up Mana Drain next turn. This is kind of fun. This is going to, if it sticks around to next turn, reduce our Uro to a green and a blue. That's pretty silly. Tataru Taru. I didn't know this was on Arena. Yeah, I'm going to draw a card. Sounds great. Ooh. Natural Order. You don't say. Static Prison, my Fuel Tank Feaster. Alright, so they're just, like, controlling the fucking board here. That's annoying. Alright, well, we can play out our Uro. We are not going to get to counter the Winota this way. But... and we didn't get a land drop. That sucks. Damn. Well, we are going to take a hit from Winota. Cooked. But what I really want to do, is play out a Natural Order. Okay. They get a Ranger Captain of Eos, but they fail to find? That seems strange. Alright. Bloom Tender. Holding up into the Flood Maw. Seems about as good as it's going to get. We just bounce their Winota before combat. We get our Fuel Tank Feaster back. Are they going to wipe the board? What's your plan here? Ah, you're going to Fury. Okay. That sucks. That is not good. Yeah, you're going to do 4 damage to my guys. Man, I just need a... I need a green source. I need the Natty O. I need to do it. Winota's going back to hand. I won't have it. Even Interrupter. Alright. I guess I have to have it. Nice control deck. Alright. We have to answer them this turn, or else we're going to die. Skirk Prospector. We can't cast non-creature spells this turn, you bet. That's that does take some damage off the board, which is nice. We could play out Kinnan. Or we could just hold up in... Yeah, let's play out Kinnan. And then we might take some damage to Ancient Tomb to cast into the Flood Mob, but that seems like it's worth doing. Oh, shit. Hey, why can't I respond to... Oh, it can be cast as a sorcery. Man, that fucking sucks. Ugh. Yeah, GG's. Are we dead? Yeah, we're pretty much dead, right? Yeah, there's nothing we're doing here. Alright. GG's. Alright. We're playing against Cosmic Spider-Man. The beginning of combat on your turn, other spiders you control gain flying, first strike, trample, lifelink, and haste until end of turn. So this could be like someone's Spider-Man deck, or maybe it's a Changeling deal. We've just been getting some shit hands here. We're always on the draw, and we're not seeing our dorks. We are just absolutely dorkless. Fanatic of Ronus is okay, so we will run with that. I think we'll put the Nezzy back. And, man, I could see us even worldly tutoring for a dork here. But you know what? Now that we have Ronus and Cold Steel Heart, I think we're going to be okay. Alright, so they're doing Spider-Man shit. Right on. We will play out Fanatic of Ronus. Next turn, we can Dreamroot, Cascade, Kinnan, Cold Steel Heart. And then we can set up a Worldly Tutor turn where we do some shit with Kinnan. Or we do not, because we get Fanatic of Ronus bounced back to our hand with a Spider Woman. Spider Bite. Alright, another land. We can play Ronus again. Yeah, we'll just do that. It blocks some of their cards. And we'll just try to do the same thing this turn. Cold Steel Heart, Kinnan. It's too bad that Cold Steel Heart comes in tapped. Otherwise, it would go mana neutral with lands that we play it off of. Okay, they play out Spider piloted by Penny. Whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Seems good. Alright, they pass. We could bounce something with Into the Flood Maw. That seems very solid. Let's go ahead and play Kinnan. And then let's play the Cold Steel Heart. Tap it for blue. And we'll pass. So depending on what they play here, they might go for Cosmic Spider-Man. And if they do, we could bounce it. Okay, Spider-Man India. Whenever you cast a creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Gains flying until the end of this turn. That's fine by me. They're going to attack. I think we just take the damage. That's 14 damage. We could bounce Penny. I don't hate bouncing Penny. I don't want to give him another creature spell. All right, no blocks. Or I'm sorry, I don't want to give him another card. Okay. I don't think there was a way to do that where we got... Yeah, we can't Worldly Tutor in our upkeep. We would just draw the card with Kinnan. So, Chrome Mox is unfortunately a dud, but what we can do is we can Worldly Tutor, go get Emrakul, and get one of their creatures and then blow them the fuck out. So they're going to give Spider-Man India flying. That makes sense. They put another 1/1 counter on him. They're going to go to attacks. Swing with a 6/6. We'll hit the Worldly Tutor. We'll grab Emrakul. We'll put Emrakul into play. We'll block Spider-Man India. And I don't think they can have anything that would fuck with our game very much here. So let's swing in. They've either got to get rid of most of their lands or all their creatures in most of their lands. So we got there. On the draw, once again, against Brawl All-Star, Atali, Primal Conqueror. This is an interesting keep. We could play Bloom Tender and Incubation Druid. We just have not gotten our 1-mana dorks, but with the Ancient Tomb and the Bark Channel Pathway, I think we're just going to rip it, We can go Island and then Brainstorm. Maybe we draw into Dork here. No, we don't, but we can do Midnight Clock next turn if we want to. Yeah, let's chill. You know what else we can do is that we can Brainstorm in response to the Atali coming down. And give him something that'll, kind of make him whiff. Maybe like a Snakeskin Veil or something like that. Unfortunately, they are another sort of, creature dork heavy, maybe they have some burn spells going on type of thing. And if they hit one of our big fuckers, we are in pretty big trouble. Snow-covered forest, and they play out the Iron Crag. All right. A 2-mana colorless rock. Do we want to Brainstorm here? You know what? I don't think we do. I think what we'll do is we'll play out the Ancient Tomb and play Midnight Clock. Yeah, I think I like that the most. Next turn, we could go green, play Kinnan. Then we have 4 mana, but we don't have... You know what? I actually maybe should have played Bark Channel Pathway and one of our dorks out. I think that would have been a better play. Damn it. Okay, they cast a Gwenna. Gwenna is a very good ramp creature for them. They can cast their Atali next turn. If they find a red. Actually, they don't need a red. They have red with Gwenna. So they had kind of the nuts here. But here's what we can do. We can Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. And we can Brainstorm. And then next turn, if Kinnan is alive, we can just Natty-O him and get World Spine Worm or get maybe Coma. We could get a Vorinclex. Whatever we want. They're eyeing our Kinnan. They're going to bolt Kinnan. I'm okay with that. I guess I could have looked for the Fierce Guardianship with the Brainstorm. Shoot. That might have been good. But what we want to do here is we want to brainstorm. Yeah, the wash away. Okay, so we'll put the wash away on top. That'll be a whiff for them. And then our hope here... Topiary Stomper. Our hope here is to cast out the Bloom Tender and the Incubation Druid. And then Natural Order for something. We could also Bloom Tender Kinnan. Then chill. There's a couple of options. Don't love this Atali, that's for sure. But I think we're going to be okay. Yeah, let's go Bloom Tender and Kinnan. We'll take some damage. But next turn, we could Incubation Druid Natural Order for something. We couldn't... I don't think we could kill with Crater Hoof here. That'd be so tight. But, ooh! A Roboroid. That's really good. Especially in a... in an Atali deck. Yeah, you attack in with Atali. We will not block. No way. What do we Natty-O for here? Okay, we could set up a Worldly Tutor with Kinnan. That's pretty gigantic. But hold up. We got to do, like, one or the other. Okay, so we could... I mean, we could Worldly Tutor for Emrakul again. Yeah, I think that's going to be the move. So, 2, 4, 6... No, sorry. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7... 8, 9, 10. So we could do 2. No, wait. We'll go green. Oh, wait. Oops. We can do a lot of mana with Bloom Tender. Let's just do Incubation Druid then. And we will block their Atali with our Emrakul next turn. We could also Snakeskin Veil our Emrakul if they have any way to fuck with it. And then we can Natural Order for the kill next turn. Okay, dope. I think we got a game plan. They are probably going to try to swing with their whole team, and they can swing with Topiary Stomper if they get the if they get another land here. They could also boot up the Iron Crag. Damn, there's a lot of things they could do that are pretty spooky. Yep, they get the Stomping Ground. That means Topiary Stomper is online. Yeah, there's a chance that we have to, like, block with everything. Oh, yes. I love that you flipped your Atali. That's phenomenal. All right, we will do... we'll pass the combat. I'll put counters on their shit. We're going to Worldly Tutor here. Get Emrakul. They pass to attackers. They have to attack with everybody. Yep. Yep. So we will Emrakul. Ooh, Galta. No, we can't do Galta. We gotta block. Shit. We gotta block Incubation Druid, Kinnan. Yeah, then they have a couple of guys. I mean, they have a lot of guys left over. It's not good. But at least we get rid of the Atali. And we can move Kinnan back to the command zone. Okay, how do we kill with Bloom Tender this turn then. We go Hedge Maze, Raphellos. Bend that. Okay, if we natural order... Okay, I think we have lethal. Because we natural order. Get rid of Bloom Tender. We get Crater Hoof. Emrakul becomes a... No! Snakeskin Veil. Shit. We can't activate Snakeskin Veil. Fuck. Okay. So we go Annihilator 6, but they get rid of all their lands. Damn it. Ugh, I screwed that up. I needed to tap the Ancient Tomb. I keep losing to the stupid auto-tapper. No. Oh, God. Yeah, and Atali swings in for exactly lethal. Damn it. Ugh. Terrible. Ugh, what a game. That is such a bummer. Real misplay by me. Damn. Okay, we are finally going first, but we don't have a single dork. We have huge cards that we want in our deck, in our hand. So we're going to mull. Okay, this is a solid hand, I think. We have Wash Away to hold up. We have Raphellos to start going crazy. We have a Prime Time. Karavek. When you commit a crime, exile up to one target black card from your graveyard and copy it. You may cast the copy. If you do, you lose 1 life. That sounds fine. We will get rid of the Misty Rainforest. And we will play a... I guess we could just Hedge Maze on their end step, but... Wan Shi Tong? Doesn't seem bad. Doesn't seem amazing either. I think I'd rather look for the 3rd land than a Wan Shi Tong. Okay, they go Urborg. They have discard for us. Yeah, they got Thoughtseize. Checks out. So they'll probably get rid of either Raphellos or Primetime here. Or Simic Signet. Because maybe they just have the removal for Raphellos. Alright, they go Simic Signet. Alright, we drew River's Rebuke. That could be very solid if we get to pop off with our mana here. But we'll play a Raphellos. It's probably going to eat shit here. Ghost Quarter. Jesus. That's annoying. Yep, Raphellos dies. Of course. Elvish Mystic. Alright, we're holding up Wash Away. Seems good. Sign in Blood, you bet. Miss a land drop, thank you so much. Let's go ahead and Kinnan. No attacks. I guess we could have gotten 1 damage because there's no way to cast Wash Away for the cleave cost. And then if we hit another land drop, we get Prime Time. And be off to Kinnan City here. Deep Cavern Bat. Getting rid of River's Rebuke. Prime Time. What are you going for here, opponent? They grab Prime Time. And they go for a Dismember on Kinnan. Alright. Back to our command zone. Alright. We play out a Boseiju. And we play out a Kinnan. Hold up a Wash Away. We can River's Rebuke. They'll play the Deep Cavern back out. Getting rid of our Prime Time. They just have removal again and again for Kinnan. This is kind of the problem with this deck, is that if you're just, like, stuck in top deck city, and they have just removal after removal, it's, doesn't feel very good. But we're up on lands. They're not seeming to draw their own. And we've got an Uro that is castable as of next turn. So that feels great. So we'll play the Soporific Springs tapped. And then we'll play an Uro next turn. You can go ahead and hit with this Elvish Mystic. We got Wash Away to get rid of their Karavek. Sholdred's Assimilator. This is an alchemy card that exiles a card. Fuck, it gets rid of our Uro? Man, that's so annoying. You may conjure a duplicate of that card into the top 5 cards of your library at random. Man, we lost our out. That is really shitty. Kinnan. We just need to pass to our next step so that we can activate Kinnan. Will they have the removal once again? Seems highly likely. Although they've played 3 removal spells already. We can River's Rebuke them in a pinch if we start going low on mana. Or low on life, I should say. They know to play around our wash away, so I don't think they're thinking about Karavek. I do like that they're thinking long and hard about their decision here. Makes me think that they don't necessarily have removal. Alright. They go for the Karavek. They know we have to counter that. And that we will. And then they'll go to attacks. They can attack in with everything. They got Menace. We take 5. Are they going to dupe something? Going to dupe a Polluted Delta? Yeah, that sounds about right. Get themselves another land? Sure. Okay. Well, let's play out a Yavimaya Coast. Let's attack. I guess there's no reason not to attack with the Elvish Mystic as well. Because we can still activate Kinnan. And then, when they go to attacks, we will activate our Kinnan. And hopefully hit. We really need it to hit here. We are not yet in a place where we could River's Rebuke and then play out the prime time on the same turn. But if we find some dorks, that becomes more of a possibility. Alright, Graveyard Trespasser. I am A-okay with that. They're going to get rid of a creature card. They'll gain some life, we'll lose some life. They'll go to attacks. Exile something from my graveyard, I'm sure. We do not care about the graveyard aside from Uro, so I'm not super sweating this Shouldered's Assimilator anymore. And what do we get with Kinnan? We get a High Fae Trickster. High Fae Trickster can block Deep Cavern Bat and get us back our prime time. And it also lets us River's Rebuke at instant speed. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we kill the DCB. Take a bit of damage. Get a Scalding Tarn. We can... What can we do here? We can Prime Time or we can River's Rebuke, but we can't do both. I kind of don't hate River's Rebuking here. Because they're going to start killing us with Graveyard Trespasser and the Assimilator and the Super Shredder. So I think we bounce their board and just swing in with Kinnan and High Fae Trickster. Yep. Shredder triggers. No Shredder to trigger it on. We swing with Kinnan and Trickster. I guess we could have done Mystic too. I don't know what I'm thinking. I just keep, you know, I instinctually hold it back thinking about Kinnan activations. But no dice. We've already gotten our Hedge Maze, so we can't Surveil off the Scalding Tarn. We'll probably just go get a island. Because we also got our breeding pool already. I don't think we're running a Mystic Sanctuary in this deck. If we are, it could be good to get back the River's Rebuke. Yeah, our opponent has a good matchup against us, but they are just stuck on mana. Unless they draw another card, another land, they can't play out Karavek. They have to pick out, like, you know, okay, I'm redeploying my Super Shredder, redeploying my Assimilator, that sort of thing. Sanguine Soothsayer. Whenever this creature attacks, conjure a card that named Sanguine Bond, classic card, into the top 15 cards, and it gains, you may pay 0 rather than pay this spell's mana cost, and when this permanent enters, draw a card. That seems pretty freaking good. Ugh. Alright. Well, it's going to resolve. We're going to pass to our step, but before we do that... we should have cracked our fetch land before Super Shredder came out. Oops. Damn it! Emrakul, that's not where you're supposed to be. Okay, well, do we want to take the guaranteed prime time, or do we want to roll with Kinnan? I think we'll take the guaranteed prime time here. Let's go get some lands. We can get Castle Garenbrig and a Shifting Woodland, I guess? Yeah. I like that. We're, like, starting to get to the point where we can, like, outright cast Emrakul, which is cool. Okay, so yeah, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Primetime lives. We stick around a little longer and get ourselves a Emrakul. It's starting to get a little spooky with this life gain, life loss thing they got going on. Plus, they found their 5th land already. They go for a Hero's Downfall on the prime time. We got to let that go. All right. Can we do 2 Kinnan activations next turn? I think it's possible. I think we're going to block Sanguine Soothsayer with the Trickster. And we're just going to let Shredder through. What have they got? Assimilator? Yeah, that's good. They get rid of Primetime, probably? Yeah. Okay, this is interesting. If we turn Shifting Woodlands into Rafellos... Oh, no. Rafellos only sees 2 forests, so that's no good. Do they attack here? We could kill Super Shredder if we block with High Fake Trickster and Elvish Mystic. Man, I kind of don't hate that. Because Super Shredder is a crazy clock. And we've got... that gives us 1 Kinnan activation. Would we have... We would have 13 next turn, right? Because we counted it out. Yeah, I think we got to do that. Shit. Feels bad, but it's just got to be done. Okay. Island. That would have been 17. That's a shame. But... we can activate Kinnan when they go to attacks. It's spooky stuff, this match. I really wish we just had it in the bag, but... if we get something good here off of Kinnan, we might be in luck. Even if it's a dork, right? Because, okay. Dork. Then we get Castle Garenbrig. We might be able to cast Emrakul next turn. For the win. They get blocked with Sanguine Soothsayer. Okay, they're reanimating the High Fae Trickster. Interesting. Guess we'll let it through. They want to cast their spells with Flash really bad. Alright, they attack here. Sanguine Soothsayer trigger. Or Shouldered's Assimilator trigger. Yep, they take the Rebuke. They can't cast that, though. That's... oh, that was the Sanguine Soothsayer trigger going on the stack. And they're putting a Sanguine Bond into their deck. So, we'll activate Kinnan. We need to hit. We need to hit good here. Nightshade Dryad doesn't really cut it. But, yeah, we're definitely not blocking. Damn, dude. If we get a land, we can cast Emrakul. But then they kill us on the crackback? Okay. Is that essentially a land? Is that enough? No, it's not. Alright, we gotta find something right now. Titan of Industry. What do? You gain us life. You put a Rhino onto the battlefield. You can also get rid of an artifact or an enchantment. We don't have any we want to get rid of, so we will gain 5 life and make a Rhino. We've got blockers in the air. And we've got another Kinnan activation available to us. What are you doing here? Caustic Bronco? Sure. Man, these menace creatures are fucked, bro. Okay. We gotta chill. We might take lethal here, depending on how they... If they tap for Caustic Bronco, whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life. Yeah, sure. Draw a card, you bet. Man, if we just get one more dork, we could swing with Emrakul next turn. Karavek. Yep. They're going to commit a crime. They're going to be able to cast a spell from their graveyard. Deadly Rollick, getting rid of the Titan of Industry. Let's activate Kinnan. Nezahal. Is that enough blockers on the ground to live? Yeah, they're gonna boot up Caustic Bronco with Karavek. I don't think so. I don't think we're gonna live through this one. Yeah. Man, this sucks. Yeah, they're gonna get a another Karavek trigger. We don't have any way to get reach for any of these lifelinkers. And there are too many guys coming through that are... Yeah, I think... what if we do this? Yeah, I think we're dead. I think it's completely GG. Yep. Damn. Sad to see. All right, folks. We went 2-5 with Kinnan in ranked Brawl. Yeesh. I think I'm starting to understand why you don't see Kinnan on a lot of those dual commander ranked Brawl tier lists. He might have been powerful enough for the play queue, but man, I'm not going to lie, this did not feel very good. Granted, we threw one of those games by letting the auto tapper fuck us over when we had lethal, but I don't know if Kinnan is up to snuff. And what became vehemently obvious is that to do pretty well in ranked Brawl, you're going to have to run good interaction. And Kinnan might have some counter spells, right? Or some ways to bounce things up off the board, but there's just not enough here to get a foothold when your opponent's getting rid of your mana dorks. You're spending turn 2 to like play out your mana dorks. You know, you're not seeing your 1 mana dorks. It's a pretty painful experience, right? Like, this is not that mid-rangey of a build at all. You're basically just trying to ramp into 7 mana for your Kinnan activation. And, you know, man, when we got Worldly Tutor and we're able to load up an Emrakul, things were fantastic, right? But otherwise, you're just depending on Kinnan to hit good. Kinnan himself, right? Like, Kinnan's threatening. He's a very powerful card, but he himself is not a threat. It is the cards that he gets that are the threats. So you compare it to something like our matchup against Atali. He's 7 mana. You could compare that to the 7 mana activation cost on Kinnan, but he immediately grabs you 2 other cards, and then, as we saw in our match against him, can flip into a trample, indestructible, poison counter monster, right? And while you're definitely ramping into Atali, you're also able to play these mid-rangey threats like Aeroboroid, or you could do any kind of like Gruul shenanigans to like win yourself the game. Plus, you've got red removal, which comes in so clutch in a format like this. Very sad to see this one really stumble and not get up off the ground. So maybe I could go back to the drawing board with Kinnan and build it more for the meta, but I'm thinking if I play Ranked Brawl again, it's probably going to be with one of these decks that has better interaction with it, because Kinnan just doesn't have it. Folks, thanks again for sticking around. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you'd like to see more Ranked Brawl videos. I promise next time will be a bit a bit of a better showing. It seems like a pretty cool format. I'm excited to maybe explore some of the other decks that we saw today. I've had an Atali list for some time that I could dust back up. I had this dream of doing like a Gruul Beats Vintage Cube, but in a Ranked Brawl deck sort of thing. So maybe we do Atali or Minsk and Boo in the future, something like that. Let me know what you'd like to see. And with that, folks, we'll see you in the next one. Peace.